So all this problem that you will encounter when you're building here in the Philippines is what I'm trying to share. That's one thing that you need to see if you're, especially foreigners married a Filipina, by the way. If the Filipina or Filipino is showing more on the side of his own family than the foreigner, I think you have a problem, because you will only be looked at as a wallet. Day 43 of my budget bungalow build. So I gotta have to check the first time for today. I don't know what's up with old B. She's yapping all about an hour through breakfast. I'm getting late. It's now 10 o'clock. On about Minecraft. I reckon he's still crazy due to this lockdown. Although it doesn't affect him much, because he's an introvert. Well, the reason that I have my YouTube channel, because I'm the extrovert of the family. Him and my daughter are a bit introvert. They don't like meeting people, but I do. So I go out twice a week and do my business and all that. But for filming itself, but with Minecraft, I just can't get it. I'm not into gaming, so, and even my own social media. I'd like to answer Regina O. Yeah, 3 pigs. It's gonna attract the crowd. I don't know. They don't really practice that social distancing. I bring around my mask, and the reason why I have to stop it, the work on Friday, is to avoid it, their crowd. And one time there was a raid here because their daughter, the one that owned that house on the side, she's single because she's a widow, and then there's a raid that happened in the chapel where they're all yapping close together like nothing happened, and they were all picked up in a truck, and she just happened to jump out of it while they're still picking up some more and run. But you know, they let you, they pick you up if you're like publicly displaying no social distancing, and make you bail 1,000 pesos. We've taken to the police station. So when there's a police car, they just run away as fast as they can, because there's like a patrolling police car around. So here we are. They are on this side. And so, like I said, the one that's gonna hinder is this old roof of the old couple. So they've done one side and they have done this side. So this is what they are this morning. They just also just laid out that side, and hopefully next will be this side. But I think we'll be hindered because of the old house still got their stuff that will hinder the laying out of the metal sheets. So as I go in here, you can see that this is the side that they done this morning. So they haven't finalized it yet, but it's still just laying out, cut and lay out. So this is what I mean. The sheets can go through here because of the roofing of the old house is still there. Now what I mean is they just help themselves to my materials, use my forms, and help themselves to my sand, and yet I was asked to pay for the wood before. That's why I had to go and tell them straight about it yesterday. So my purpose of the video that I start this from day one is to give idea of how the building works. Building a house here in the Philippines, especially the ones that are planning to come here and build a house. Like you got a problem with the workers not listening instructions, doing it their way. You got the siphoning of the materials. And when it's like nice weather, they will just go off, absent from the job, not thinking about if your work will be done. So all this problem that you will encounter when you're building here in the Philippines is what I'm trying to share. Yeah, I got some good positive feedback, especially from the OFWs that has already built their houses. But there's one there from Saudi. He spent 1 million pesos in his 2-story house. And during the earthquake in the Philippines, the walls cracked. He can't even open his front door anymore. And he spent almost 1 million pesos. And then he told me that like the lintels that I put in here and then the header, that is some of the things that I use here like that is what opened his eyes that his building is not safe. And so also for the foreigners, then you can see the work ethics and the things that you gotta do when you're building your house here in the Philippines, about how the Filipinos do it and the problems that you have to encounter. So better make sure that you will be on site to watch the workers, because even if you have a foreman, the foremans, I have been a couple before when I build on my other build. The foreman itself is the leader of the siphoning, pilferage. I mean, you think you trust them because he's the lead man, but they are also the lead man on something else. And just because they're foreman, they think that they just sit down and watch the workers. So I don't want that. They keep on just sitting down and just watch the workers because he's the foreman. So you're paying higher wages because he's the top man, and all he does is sit down. So that's not for me. I'll be the foreman, but I think I understand why they're overdoing this, because they also put their name on the build. Like in 3 months time, is something wrong, like the roof sag, of course it's not gonna be me to be blamed, it's them. So I think that's why the overkill or the overacting is done. And so they got their own reason for doing this. And so they're trying to do the straight part on that side. So they have done that one, laid it out, all the cuts and the shape of the triangle on the top of the sheets. So they are now transferring on this side. And then they will concentrate on sealing off the side ends. That's why I have sent old Lito to Andaloy to pick up the sheets and the toilet bowl. And they will concentrate on that side after taking out those roof of the old house. But right as of the moment, only the side where it don't get connected yet with the plain sheets, that the droppings from the rain come in. So they have been doing their dirty kitchen on the side, and they will be making the cooking area beside the house. So you can see that This is, they will transfer the BBC, but they will be making the cooking here. So nearer to the house, so you know what's the effect. The house will be black in no time. So this is how they envision their kitchen. And then they will make another one there on that side for their fire. So inside, that's only just for the clean kitchen. That one worktop that I done. So when their guests come, they can wash their hands in there. And yeah, Regina, oh, you're quite correct. They're not really much concerned about social distancing here. It seems like nothing happened when they're going around, but only when we go to the city, when they go, me as well, I've noticed, that's when the social distancing are observed. But if you're just within your premises here, the police or the authorities don't really have to check. Only, like I said, there was a raid on the road, patrolling people just yapping on the side of the road. So I myself is observing that. You noticed that sometimes I got so much filming, just talking about things, because that's my way of avoiding them. So if they see I'm filming, they won't go near me. So that's my social distancing technique. So it's drizzling now. I'll just go back, and then I'll go back later when the two boys will be back bringing the additional materials. So my work will only be until Friday, so I'm gonna have to make up for the video for Saturday or Sunday as well. So I'll be researching about information video to share to my viewers. I'll go back because the drizzle is now starting to get stronger. I hope they won't stop working, because they said that they want to finish that side. Let them do it, what they said. Tay. So I'll just give you some coverage later when I go back. I'm going back down now for my second check of my budget bungalow build, day 43. I've given you the total last Saturday, the end of that week. That will include all the wood trusses, nails. So I'm still under my 200,000 budget, because the total last Saturday, including labor, was 192,831. But this week, start of yesterday, we've been putting up the sheetings, metal sheets. So the metal sheets, the GI corrugated, cost me 13,440, and the flat sheet that goes on the ridge will be 1,960. So the total of the whole metal sheets is 15,400 plus the labor. So I am now over my 200,000 budget for that bungalow. Although I did not buy some that is listed by Old Tony, like 6-foot sheets. What's the 6-foot sheets for? I have been looking at the plans and it's not needed. And so I noticed that, I think you've seen it, that the old man is building the dirty kitchen, insisting that they build it while I'm still there, because you know why. So I'm suspecting about the 6-foot sheeting that he ordered. Is it to roof the dirty kitchen? So I said it's not available. So this is now my big lessons learned for me. Now I could understand that I should not be hiring relatives to do my building, because at the end of the day, when the work is done, I am just the employer for that project and they are remaining relatives. So you could imagine it, some of the relatives will come over there and ask, who made this? Of course, that's your cousin, or that's your brother, so and so. They have to be impressive. So this is now my problem, but I have already understood this. Old B just laughed at me of learning all these lessons, But I learned now that I won't be on. I don't question their ability to do the job. But since if I do the building here, they'll be near the vicinity of their relatives. So I have the same predicament. So I won't. That's my lesson learned. I won't be hiring them for the next job. This is one thing that I want to show you. A blatant thing that you need to check when you're building here in the Philippines. The lessons learned that at my expense, you should take notice of. So you see here, the old man is building his dirty kitchen. So this is the one day why he insists on building such kitchen while I'm still here, although I still keep on saying that hold off. Number one, look at those forms. Do you recognize those forms? Those are mine. Tire wire, those are mine. Although he bought his hollow blocks and rebars, but the sand and gravel is mine. So you can see where they get the sand. Now, I don't mind this fully accounted for, but you as a foreigner building here in the Philippines, these are the things that you need to watch out for. You need to be in sight because of the siphoning, pilferage of materials. Now look at this, what's going to happen here. You know this PVC pipe that we use for venting? The old man doesn't understand what it is for, so he needs to cut it off, and he will put his burning cookery here, right beside the house. So, with this owning of that we have allowed, and the cooking will be here beside the house, all the smoke will go inside the house. So this is what we're up against. And look at this. So I'm thinking, why the 6 meter was listed that I didn't buy? Your guess is as good as mine. So lessons learned from this for me, for myself, is I don't want to hire relatives anymore if they are near the vicinity of their own relatives, because at the end of the day, there still be relatives. You're just the employer. So after this work, I'll take a rest. I won't do any more jobs until I'm ready. But this is the lessons I've learned. Because I don't know why he's trying to cut that when they can do that themselves, where they should have been taking out the wood from here. Basta kahinay. So this is what they are, and I left. They were trying to do this one, so this is what they've done after all this time. So that is my decision now. The one I'm gonna be hiring for the road only is Daloy, and Julito will be doing that. I'll stop building for now after this one. I've learned the lesson. I won't be hiring relatives anymore. They are related to the old couple. Of course, they will make impressions. They don't care about you. You'll only be spending. But at the end of the day, it will be them who made your roof, who made your wall. And you are just there, not following instruction, over budgeting. So, lessons learned. Do not hire relatives that's related to the build of your project. So, another thing that I'm trying to show you is if you cannot be on site you should have someone that you can trust. I have also my lessons before. When I was building my castle, I hired my brother to be my watchman of the workers. But to my big surprise, he's worse than the other people. So he's filtering my materials and also telling the workers that the bee is not here. Just sit down there and chat with me. Worse, they said he's worse. He's my brother and he's worse. So I fired him out and then do the job myself. But this is the first time that I have learned this lesson about the relatives related to the old people. Of course, they will make an impression. They won't be listening to you anymore. They have their own plans. So this is a big lesson learned. Old B don't care. He just laughed at me to learn this kind of lessons. So they're trying to do both side here, and like there's so many trimmings, like because it's like a triangle going down to the small edge. So this is the one that's easier than the big one, but it will be held up for now because of the problem that it will be reaching the old house. So this build, I show this as my content because I'm hoping to help the people that's building, my OFW brothers, my foreigners that's building here, the things that you'll have to look out for. And like I said, if you cannot trust somebody to watch the build, you have to be on site. Because take for example, when you go to a hardware shop, you will have 4 people just on the line of checking. First the cashier, then the checker before it's packed, and then the supervisor will be checking the receipt. Although some got 3 checks, but most of them got 4 checks. The supervisor will be checking the receipt if it's all the same. What's on the receipt and what's been packed. And then the guard will be checking the receipt as well. I mean, that's the shop. And what about a building site where materials will be used? So if you are building your dream house here, if you can't have somebody you can trust, you should build a bunghouse or a shed that you can stay in during the build. A shed for your materials so you can monitor the going in and out. So there we are on this side, and now I understand. Now you can see why he insists on doing the same thing while I'm still here, so he can use some of my materials. So if he's building a sink here, I'm thinking of not building any sink here, just a worktop. So they can use it as their TV stand or fridge stand. So the old man has instructed his builder to break the wall on this one so they can get the rebars to use for their pile there. So I don't know what's the plan because they have also cemented it there. Well, although it's far from the boundary, but I don't know what he plans on this one here. But so we can destroy this one now after the corner. So we will destroy it because you can see that's the awning there going straight in. So after this, we will be destroying this side. The one you can see there. So that is on the way. So we'll be cutting through this now. So I'll just go back there when on the last hour. But I think I could reach my 200,000 budget if like the rendering plan, how it should be, was followed. The roofing plan was followed, not over killing it to make an impression. So I'm not despair. I just learned the lesson from it. Like what you're gonna be seeing there, like I have shown you, are the using of my materials. Although I've already counted that in my figures. But how can I ever use it now if they destroy it? So those are things that you need to consider when you're building here, because things like this happen. Make it pay. It's good. You do the right attitude, you'll be watching them like a hawk. And the coming in and out of materials should also be monitored, because that's where I've learned some lesson of that when I was building my castle. Like I said, I even hired my own brother, which is worse. He's the leader of it all. He will even stop the job and just chat while I'm not here. So I hope a lot of people will be learning lessons from all of this build I've shown. Going back down now, 420. I last checked for day 43 rather, of my budget bungalow build. So I had a few friendly emails asking me if I have siblings and all that. Now that I mentioned my brother used to be in the squatters, one of the tough ones, been in prison, you know, the works. And when he just been out and also called want a new life, so I was giving him a chance to watch my construction, make sure my interest is protected, and then only to discover a month later that he is on his game again. So I fired him right there and then. Then I noticed that he's been hanging around the place again, the building site. So I went over and confronted him. And while we're arguing, he just punched me, and Old B saw it. Old B went over and give him a good beating, that he don't come back here anymore. And that's another lesson that I want to share, that some families are like, if they're daughters or sons, they think that the son-in-law, daughter-in-law is only an addition. For me, my family is now Old B and my daughter. I have helped my siblings, but they are now just an acquaintance family as far as I'm concerned. My real family now is my own family with Old B and my daughter. And so if I had to choose between my brother and Old B, I don't care about my brother anymore, if that's the question I'll be asked. So that's one thing that you need to see if you're, especially foreigners married a Filipina, by the way. If the Filipina or Filipino is showing more on the side of his own family than the foreigner, I think you have a problem, because you will only be looked at as a wallet to finance her family or his family. So that's one thing that you need to see. That you gotta be clear when you married a Filipino, what is his priority? Is it the married life? Is it you, or the same old family that he's into? So I see that they're cutting some of the wood, Tony and Daloy. So this is what they are so far. We can't do this side of the roof until we clear out the columns that's in here. So I've noticed that they have cut that column in the middle, and there's another one left over there, so we can continue the sheeting. But that's why they're cutting that woods, because they want to use it to hold the roof the old roof of the old house. So right now they're just nailing on. Old Lito and Fredo is doing the nailing on, because I could see some umbrella nails on top of those sheets. So like this is what old Tony is doing, is to hold the roof on this one that they plan. Then I think they will put another one here in the middle, so they can just cut off that one that he's holding on his left hand. Then we can continue the roof. So because this is what I mean, my 200,000 budget could have been easily reached. I know it because I have already been recalculating according to the plan, but because of the additional one room and then additional slab on the back, and of course the more grazing, the rendering, that added to it. But it's a lessons learned. Like I said, it's family, so my next house build should not be, because they will be surrounded here by the same family, and you won't be able to stop like, oh, while they're working, oh, can you just do this for a while, because they can say no to a family. Or do you have a little bit of that there, a little bit of that here, that they need inside their own house, that they will be letting them do it, forced by their blood relations. So, but I need a rest first before I start again. I'll just retain my old workers, which is the Loy and Old Lito, because they've been working for me despite nothing like domestically. So second day of our sheeting, and this is what we are so far. I see that the Loy is doing the sewing of the column. I don't know if he knows how to do that. You can see here the umbrella nails that Fredo and Old Lito is nailing. So that's the final. I thought they're still, what they've done here on the first part that they put in, it's just temporary nails, but it looks like they're finalizing the 3 sections now before they cover the connecting areas, the middle and the 2 here, 2 corners and 2 corners here, and that will be covered with plain sheets. So you see that scaffold that Deloy built there yesterday? That will be the indication where the red marker of the geodetic has been. We will be lining it. Make a road, that's the end edge of the road, towards there, right on the boundary near the post. So we will soon define that. We will be putting a line through. That's the post over there. So that will be from that post, electric post is what I'm talking about, pass to here, going to there. So not straight. So they still have this, where that car is parked, they still have that entrance to go in. So I'll go around and see what they have done for their side. Now I can see what the pressure of these two working for me, surrounded by their own blood relatives. So you won't be expecting any loyalty towards you. Because like the saying, blood is thicker than water. But this is what the dirty kitchen that they planned. You can see they have made a sink there, so I think I will not be doing a sink. But what I'm telling you, that look at the materials that's been used. So at least they're finalizing it and nail it properly now, not just the temporary that they done yesterday. And then they will be cutting through where the corners are. So that's what I mean about they're related. They won't be loyal to you. I think they've shown me where their loyalty lies. Then on my next build, which will be the next, just near here, there, and there will be a wall on the back of here where the pole, and it will meet the other marker that is marked here on that wall, so they still can see them, and you know what the influence gonna be. Can you just do this a little bit? Oh, you have a little bit of that? I need some of that here. So this is a big lesson for me. They might be good workers, but no. Business is business. So we need to take a break, and I need to take a break from the work and assess what I want to do next. I think the old couple can see that how the space that they have in here compared to what they got there. So now I see that old Tony and Deloy has got the last column that's hindering the roof. Potol? So there, the roof has been held on by that wood that they put in. So I've noticed that they have the worker of the old man making their dirty kitchen. Human na mo? Amo na to? Oh, napa. Oh. Hapit naman tulog. He's the one that's working on that one, not the first one that I was warning him that if you hire that one, I'll pull out, because the first one had a reputation of not just pilferage. They'll just, like, if they go home, like, there's a saying that you come into work with a thin bag, and then when you go home, your bag's fat. That is the first worker that they had before. Come to work with a thin bag and go home with a fat bag. All the tools, materials that he can put in his bag. But that one's so blatant. He used to work for me for a while, and then he's like, you got a file of cement and he thinks you're not counting. He'll get one or two of that and sell it to the neighbors. Or rebars, or like, at least they have this worker don't have that kind of reputation. So it was all right that he keeps on about starting while I'm still here. But my said is, as long as you don't have the first worker. So it was sorted. I just want this finished and I could move on. But I could see light at the end of the tunnel now that the roof will be on. Then we do the rendering. Like I said, they can do it as fast as they can. We move their electrics. And then if the lockdown will be ending on May 15, then I could get the doors and windows. Then I'm gone here. I'd like if I had my way, but I'll still have to consult to my consultant. I want to wall this part. I don't want to see them. Because they are hard work.